the other things that came out as a theme across the different stories was around how politicized the world of emerging markets is. So Gloria, you were working in the civil service in, was it the Zuma years still? In the Zuma years, talking to senior executives in that area. So, you know, how, I mean, she doesn't mention, she's not wanting to study Zuma. Let me just put it out there. She wants to understand coaching and transformative learning. But you happen to live in South Africa, and you happen to have senior leaders who are working for government during a period of our history which is a pretty challenging one.
Yeah, so again, it's about the process. So in coaching, there's kind of a particular process that people follow. You will connect with the client. You will agree on, you know, sessions, how many they're going to be, the intervals, how they're going to be. So it's a nice, neat thing that's in literature and based on whatever practice has been researched on. And then we get to the Public Sector South Africa 2017, and things are not as they are meant to be, or they were normally be. So the entire public service is destabilized. And some of the key departments, like the finance ministry, is absolutely hit hard. So getting into, I remember one of the coaches, so I had coaches that did the coaching, so I was just managing the project. And they would then sometimes when they were battling with the logistics or stuff that was happening, they would check with me. So certain things would not work that they expected would work. So she tells me after all one day, she says, and then I get there, I'm slightly about 5 minutes late because I had to spend 15 minutes at security to sign in. You know, she didn't know she had to, we forgot to tell her, set aside 30 minutes to sign in at security. And this executive is absolutely upset, extremely upset, like, why do you pitch 5 minutes late? You know, I don't have time for this nonsense and all of that and all of that. And they go, but she's humble, she apologizes and all of that. But obviously she, further down the conversation, she realizes that was not the 5 minutes that made her angry. It was something else that had happened in her work environment that impacted on her being so angry about her being 5 minutes late, even though there was an explanation. So the need to be flexible and adjust to what was happening in that moment became very crucial. At some point, so you have this, I'm gonna meet with you every 3 weeks or every 4 weeks, and sometimes it's 7 weeks, because there's just stuff that's happening. The budget process is happening, you know? So you're paying attention to that, you're not there. Some of the experiences that obviously there was a serious disorientation that had happened in that system, which they were not used to. There was a process that they were used to, and now there's a new minister who hardly knows whether they are going or coming, and then he doesn't really know exactly what he's doing, but he's kind of bringing in people that are incompetent. And these are executives that are used to working efficiently. They know what they're doing, whether they're doing the right, at least they have been operating in the way. So as a coach that is coming into the system, the you have to have the wisdom to understand that you can't just say, no, you missed your session. Okay? You need to understand what's happening in around. So that another one that really happened, so with the life acidemia, for example, where one of the coaches had to pull out. So one of the ways I was collecting data, it was the videos, but they also did diaries. So everyone did a diary after every coaching session, both the coach and the coachee, and I collected them via SurveyMonkey. So I had access to the diaries. So I could actually tell what's going on. So I knew when the life acidemia proceeding started that one of these coaches was going to testify the following morning. And he was scheduled for a coaching session. So he was scheduled for a coaching session the following day, not the day of when he was testifying. So I just had to call the coach to say, you know what, I don't think you're gonna coach, because I had seen what had happened during the process. So instead, I was the one who went to meet him, because I just wanted to check if he was fine and if he was getting the necessary support that he would need in terms of psychosocial support, whether the organization was arranging something like that. So having to intervene in these kinds of contexts that you don't have control over was some of the things. And every session happened to, so the peaks in the coding, the process, it's like every time they are away, when they came back, there was something that would have happened. And that would have had an impact either on the progress they had made or re-looking at whatever they had to do. And then it was another, a process of going into the negative and having being assisted to do that. At some point, they were happening, I think, towards the end of the year, because that was the budget process, and I can't remember when the life acidemia process ended. But there were so many things that were happening during that. So every session, the coaches had to face having to be aware of what was going on and being flexible enough to say, we're going to be able not to go with the agenda of what we had. At the beginning, we might have said a coaching outcome that said, oh, this is what I want to do. I want to be able to manage my people better, or whatever it is that they said. But the agenda became very different. And it became really helping people to deal with that disorientation that was happening in the system right throughout. I think the positive part about that is that a large number of them finished the coaching session. They actually felt it was useful. It was a space, it was the only space that they had to be able to deal with these issues, put into perspective what was going on, and be able to plot a way forward for themselves. And these were, like I'm saying, senior executive DDGs, chief directors, and upwards. So that was really a fascinating thing to see from one side, but at the same time, it's like, oh my God, I knew there might be something like this, but we didn't really bargain for this. But the ultimate price was that they stayed in the coaching, and they felt that it helped them navigate the process of whatever they wanted to achieve at that point in time.